Just be ready for that clap. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all. Here we go. Needing us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Okay, here's our big moment. And God needs us to shine its light. Again, God needs us to shine its light. Here we go. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Woo!
Good morning. Big thank you to Laura Berryhill and Anton Mizrak. Fabulous music. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Rogue Valley. If that's not where you think you are, you should probably get in your car and go where you're supposed to be. But I think you're supposed to be here. I'm very glad you are here. I'm Reverend Linda Reppond. Reverend Kimberly is taking a well-deserved weekend away. And so I'm going to preside and speak. I'm the show. And I'm very happy to be back. We are a progressive, inclusive spiritual community, and we welcome each of you no matter where you are on your spiritual journey. If you're here for the first time, a very special welcome. If you don't mind raising your hand, we will give you a welcome packet. And one of our ambassadors will come. Anybody here for the first time? All right, we're local today. Almost local. Hi, welcome. A reminder, please turn off or silence your cell phones. Put them in airplane mode. I want to specifically thank Nancy Clay, who is our last-minute practitioner of the day, stepping in as only a practitioner would. Sure, yes, I can do this. And Carol Wythe, who led an incredible meditation and is holding high watch for us through the service, which means she is just keeping the container of prayer surrounding us for all of us to just kind of sink into what this service holds for us. So I just invite you to turn inward and listen to this music and take it in as we get ready for our invocation and opening reading.
So this is an old chant from the Samaveda, Loka in the world, Samasta in every direction, Sukhino full of happiness, Bhavantu, let it be. 1, 2, 3.
So if you're here for the meditation this morning, we're very centered in our hearts at this moment. And our heart is our spirit. It's our connection to the all, to the creation, to the creator, to each other in every moment, in all time and space. This is a gift, the gift of being alive at this time. And by some divine coincidence, we all came here this morning to be together. And that it just means a lot to me. I'm sorry I have to say that. And so I just know we're here to be together, to connect to spirit, to breathe, to beat our hearts, to listen to Linda's inspiring talk and the beautiful music. I know that all is blessed. And we stay together. And so it is. So, as you heard, I kind of last minute doing this. You can tell from my prayer. And I chose just to do this morning's daily reading from the Daily Word, and the word is care. And I have kind of a humorous anecdote of my own to say about care. Some of you know that I have a daughter who is all grown up, and when she was little, I was, of course, the most liberal and understanding and allowing parent that ever lived. but I could not handle it if she ever said, "I don't care." To me, that was the worst thing that could be said. And I guess I feel that way still. And a care is just a really easy thing to do. And Mark Depot, in his book, A Book of Soul, he has a whole section on widening our circle of care. And in it, he mentions that everything is always happening all at once, and that we're all a part of that. And that it means so much to each of us to remember that. So, here we go. I am here and I care. Sometimes my heart goes out to a friend or even a stranger who is struggling. Other times my heart breaks when I learn of another's devastating news. In those moments, I feel the urge to help. I pray, affirming healing, peace, or comfort. I may offer financial support or material goods. I might call on the phone or visit in person. Even so, I may feel my efforts are not enough, especially when needs are great. But the impulse to care is in many people the activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my efforts with theirs, I trust we can lift up even the most dire situation. I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. And so it is.
This is another original song by Anton. We're receiving some of Anton's gifts today.
And just in case I forget what I'm doing here. Let's just start again.
We are the crown of creation. Nature becoming conscious of herself, swimming in an ocean of sensation, discovering the vastness of our wealth. These times are times of great mystery. These times are times of great choice. As we answer the call of our own destiny, we must each speak our own truth with our own voice. And if there's one great light, we must find it all. And if there's one great peace, we must find it all. If there's a oneness in life, we must find it all in our heart. These times are times of great trials, but these times can be times of great hope. These times may be times of personal struggles, But these times can be times of limitless growth. And if there's one great light, we must find it all. And if there's one great peace, we must find it all. If there's a oneness in life, we must find it all in our hearts. Find it all in our hearts. Find it here in our heart.
Wow. Thank you. I always love it when they're doing the music when I talk. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to have a conversation with you today that might be a little bit uncomfortable for some of you. And so I just ask you to dwell in your heart space. If you were here for the meditation, Carol brought us really into heart coherence in that meditation. So just open your heart and listen with the ears of your heart if this is new or different for you. Our theme has been for this year, Living Out Loud. And the theme for September is Loving Out Loud. And I love that because I'm here to live out loud. That's kind of been my theme song my whole life. I love that. And part of it in the loving out loud is to consider the spectrum of what people identify as. And so we're going to talk about pronouns. Maybe you've encountered this, in other settings. And I will say, typically for people of a certain age, which might relate to a part of this congregation, this might seem like a fad. I'm just going to wait this one out because, this whole pronoun thing of he, she, they, he, they, she, they, all of them. There's a bunch of them, and it requires retraining yourself to use those. And for those of us who have years of practicing calling people who look a certain way a she or a he, this kind of gets I don't know about this. This is a little bit hard. But so I want to talk about it because gender is a spectrum. You probably have known people who are super girly girls or super macho boys, that sort of they tend to be at the end of one end of the spectrum. And most of us place ourselves somewhere else, somewhere in the middle of all of that. There's an exercise we've done a number of times at teen camp of asking the entire camp, which sometimes is as many as 400 teens, to line up where they place themselves on that spectrum. And so there will be people who appear as girls who are way down on the boys' side, and there appear to be people who appear to be boys way down on the girls' side, and everybody's kind of wherever they are. And I love that because it's an opportunity for them to evaluate for themselves and to sort of speak it out loud by placing their body there. And it's much more likely that teens will have that perspective of the broadness of gender than, I hate to call us old, the rest of us. How about that? And there's a reason for that, because many things have changed in relation to the world. For the millennials or the Gen Xers, okay, so millennials would be people born in the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s. Gen X would be people from 1996 on. So those are generations, and I'm your youth minister. I work with those every week. They're not here today, but they knew I was speaking, so whatever. In that age group, there's a much more rich expression in relation to gender. And I suspect there are people in this room that wish you could have been alive now rather than when you grew up. Because there's a lot of us that didn't really conform to whatever society's expectations or our teachers' expectations or our families' expectations of where we were supposed to land on that spectrum. And it's changing because, well, I guess for many, 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 many reasons, but not the least of which is the internet, and there's more visibility available, and people see choices that they didn't see before. But also the world is changing. So why have this conversation in church on Sunday morning? Because we have a strong commitment, and I'm really grateful for that strong commitment in this community to be a family-friendly church, to attract younger people, and to see that this teaching of science of mind proceeds forward in the world after we're gone. And the only way that's going to happen, yeah, that is my favorite thing about us as CSL Rogue Valley. That's a huge thing for us, and it's important. And it requires us to try out some different behaviors. So if for no other reason than that, I would encourage you to really approach this as like, could I change the way I language things a little bit to accommodate all of this? Language does change, and we do make up words. People say, we can't make up a word for that. Yeah, you can. For example, if I think that the dictionary would say that your mother's mother or your father's mother would be your grandmother. Well, how many of us have a different name for grandmother that we called our own grandmother or that our grandkids called us? Granny, Mima, Pookie, we've all got these names, and they're made up names. They're made up names that are generally like surrounded by, love, or it was the first word that, you were called by that child, or, it's the one you made up because the other grandmother wanted another one. All those things are ways that we came up with words that fit, and nobody questions that. So it is possible that we can make up new words for things. We can try out new ways of saying things. There are more, I'm not going to go into them all today, but there are more pronouns available than he, she, they. It's expanding even now. But I want to show you just a short video that will, it's up here, that will help you sort of begin to sort out what some of these terms mean before we go any further. So Bill, if you can play that.
All right, folks, here we go. A romaine and kale salad with avocado, cucumber, shishito peppers, and 4 kinds of cheese. Sprinkled in balsamic straight from Italy.
Wow! In my day, salads only had 2 ingredients. A rock-hard wedge of iceberg lettuce and a sticky old dried-up tomato.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to eat fast. Alex is stopping by in a few minutes to work on a robotics project.
Alex, is that the girl with that weird dog or the boy with the hat with the wings that flap?
No, Uncle Jay. This is Alex.
Oh, okay. I remember. A very nice young... come to think of it, well, is Alex a boy or a girl?
Actually, Alex doesn't define themselves as boy or girl.
What else is there?
Back in your day, most people understood the world in terms of just boys and girls. But now, we know gender is more complex than that.
Wait, aren't we just talking about whether you're born with a or a
When you're born, your sex is assigned in a medical way, but the sex listed on your birth certificate may not necessarily match your gender identity.
Gender identity is a person's inner experience of who they are in terms of gender, their deep personal sense of being male, female, a blend of both, or neither.
And while many people have a gender identity that's the same as their assigned birth sex of female or male, that's not always the case, because gender exists on a spectrum. Like transgender, which means a person whose gender identity is not consistent with their assigned birth sex. Non-binary, which means a person whose identity doesn't fall in the category of either male or female. And genderqueer or gender fluid, which means a person who does not identify themselves as having a specific gender at all.
Does gender identity have to do with being straight or gay?
Actually, no. Gender identity has to do with the way you feel about yourself, while sexual orientation is based on the way you feel toward others, the people you may or may not be attracted to.
You know, I really like Alex, and I can tell they're a good friend to you. But I'm still pretty confused about all of this.
That's okay. You don't have to fully understand someone to respect them. To start, try not to make any assumptions about a person's gender, and use the name and pronouns that they ask you to. Above all, be a friend or ally for people of all gender identities.
That's right, Mom. Oh, Alex is here. Come on in.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, hey, Alex. Care for some salad? The balsamic's right from Italy, you know.
So, gender identity is how I perceive myself, my self-picture.
There's one
Gender
simple hearing hack
expression
anyone can
is
use
how
to
I
improve
show
their
that up in
hearing
the world.
almost.
So I may identify personally as a he, but show up as a she. But in my own heart,
But I'm still
I could
pretty
be something else.
confused about all of this.
And then sexual orientation, as the video says, is really is more about who I'm attracted to and how I want to interact in the world. So all of this is very important to young people. And it is, one of my favorite things is at teen camp, I have been, the last several years, the advisor to the non-binary cabin, which means at teen camp you can identify as you're a girl, or you're a boy, or you're non-binary. And that identifies which cabin, which showers, all of that you get assigned to. Well, I love the non-binary cabin because they are the coolest kids at camp. Without a doubt, they are the coolest kids at camp. And part of it, and I can see it, and I can see it in my own life experience, is that you get to be that kind of cool because you have had to stand up for who you are against all the norms around you. You have had to say, this is who I am, and claim it in your world. Now, at teen camp, it's true that there are teens that are trying it out and maybe not ready to say that to their family or at school. So there'll be, it's a great, still safe week in the world to, in a safe, environment where people can try those kinds of things out. But and the other part of it is because traditional churches have been very judgmental about issues of gender, we become a magnet for people who are not fitting in that traditional spectrum. And it is nowhere more evident than with our teens. So let me just give you some data about this, because it's not just me saying this, there's research. So Pew Research Center, a 2020 study said that roughly half of Gen Zers, 50%, and millennials, 47%, think that society is not accepting enough of these individuals. A Harvard Business Review article, also from 2020, said that more than 12% of US millennials identify as transgender or gender nonconforming. And globally, not just in the United States, globally, 25% of Gen Zers expect to change their gender identity at least once in their life. This is not a little thing, and it is not going away. This is an expansion of consciousness, of understanding of who I am and how I'm going to be in the world. And as you know, that once that expands, it doesn't go back in the box. So this is going to continue to evolve in our world. And I think it's incredibly important that we consider embracing it as opposed to fighting it. I suspect most of you have run into somebody in your world who is claiming to be somewhere in the middle of the spectrum, something between the far end of female and the far end of male, and figuring out who they are and where they stand in the world. It's a big deal, and it's a big deal because it is so it's so mistreated and misunderstood. 44 states have introduced legislation to limit the rights of transgender people. Those include getting adequate medical care, it includes education, it includes what bathroom you can use. I mean, it's being very harshly defined in a way that says, especially to a teen, but I think to anyone who's identifying as non-binary, you're an other. We in society are over here, and you are over here. That is the exact opposite of what we teach in Science of Mind. What we teach is that there is one. We are all connected, and we are all one. We are each of us, whole, complete, perfect expressions of the divine as we show up. And as we show up, maybe I look like this, you look like this, you look like this, or claim or experience yourself as this or this or this. But we teach, and I deeply believe that we are one. We are connected to each other. And more so than any group in this country right now, perhaps in the world, but certainly in this country, this is a marginalized group of people. And it is young people who are claiming more and more of who they are, who are being treated in a way that is saying, you're not us. In fact, there are traditional churches that would say that you are an abomination. I see that. I see that on YouTube videos of traditional churches. What is that saying to a child? What are we saying? And if we're going to be accepting of that, like we're not going to be them, they're still part of us. Those evangelicals, they're one with us too. That's what oneness means, actually. It's not us. There's no us and them out there. There's only us. But if we want to be on the accepting end of that, what does that mean in terms of how we act in the world? Jesus would say we're not separate. If you have done it to the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. So how this shows up in life is an opportunity to be a healing arm, to provide acceptance, to really stand up and speak out for people that are marginalized. And this would be a population that maybe we haven't considered it before, but is deeply, deeply marginalized in our world right now. So my talk title was and is God a they? Or what are God's pronouns, I think is how I worded it. Is God a they? Because we don't teach that God's a he. Do you know how we got to God being a he? It's because it was men making up the stories and writing down the words. So God is in the likeness of me, so I'm he, so God's a he. Really, that's a little facetious, but not untrue. And there is in the feminine movement, there is a big desire to claim the divine feminine, to claim the goddess. And so we say, okay, the God, the goddess, he has got a he, has got a she. Actually, God is love. That is the essence of the message in the Bible. That is the essence of the message that we teach. God is love. Love is a principle. Love is not personified as a person, as a male person, a female person, a humanness. And it is I think it's a natural desire to recreate God in a sort of super version of our own image. That's human. It's just not true. It's just not how it actually is. What we teach in Science of Mind is that God is love. Love is all there is. There is only one thing happening in the world, and everything is either showing up as that or calling out for that. So when we see things that we would label as not love, as hate, as violence, as greed, as all of these things that we would say are not God, they really are the shadow side of that one thing. So I don't think that one thing can be called a they or a he or a she, because I think it is the essence of all of life. It is all that is. So we don't have to label that. We can just experience it. And that's really the call as we start identifying as an ally for non-binary people, kids in particular, because that's my passion, but for everybody, how we can show up for people is to be that essence of love and to work on getting the pronouns right. Well, how do you know what their pronoun is? If they look like this, but they claim they're this, you can ask. It's just that easy. And the easiest way I find to ask is to start by identifying myself. You know, my name is Linda and I identify as she, her, which invites people to say, well, my name is so-and-so and I identify as something else, or whatever. But invite, and if they don't volunteer it, you can ask. So what are your pronouns? For someone who is being marginalized as a non-binary or trans person, being asked that question is like the door being flung open. It is like huge because it's being seen. And if you are that misaligned and maligned, I guess that's the word, if you're that maligned in the world, in the general media, in society, you may choose to hide your light, to spend your life kind of hiding in the closet, understandably. But as soon as somebody says, what are your pronouns? It's like the light has been turned on and you're allowed to be seen. I think that's the best thing we can do, is simply see people for who they actually are. And we're gonna screw up. It's a long learning process. So what happens if you get it wrong? Just correct yourself and move on. You know, don't make a big deal about it because you're trying. And if you're trying, that's good. So if you end up going, I don't know how to say this, I don't know what to say, you can always call somebody by their actual name. So this, in the video, you know, Alex is here. I like Alex. Alex is, is a good person. You can always just call them by their name because the pronoun is just a substitution for their actual name. So, and especially, I found with young people, because sometimes they're going back and forth themselves, like trying it out. So just calling them by their name kind of like opens that door wider and doesn't really shut down what they were feeling today. I think it is also important, as we keep saying in Science of Mind, treat and move your feet. I think it's important that we take a stand as individuals. I don't think we necessarily have to do it as a church, but I'd be in favor of it if we decided to. But I think as individuals, we need to stand up and be allies for people that are expressing in ways that are different from us and in ways that are creating reaction in the world, and to allow space and claim space and promote space for them to be who they are. Because indeed, they and we are each expressions of that one life. We are each absolutely perfect as who we are. Nothing less. That is exactly who we came here to be. And because I look and act differently than you look and act, or than you look and act, or express myself or define myself, does not change that basic spiritual truth, which is that I am an expression of God showing up in the unique way that I came to the world to be. This is the journey I came here to live. I'm going to live it as best I can, and I might screw up sometimes, but this is the journey that I am on, and it's perfect. It can't be anything but perfect. Even when it feels like it's wrong, it's on its way to evolving into something else. So it's never not perfect. That's good. You know, it's really good in so many ways to just open perspective that much wider, you know. So that's my invitation to you as you leave here today, is that you open your mind a little wider and open to a possibility of embracing and supporting people who are showing up differently than we are in our expression. Let's pray. Just turning within again, we open to the infinite presence of love. All that is. God is love, everywhere present, And within and without, I know that to be the truth. It is the truth of my own life. It is the truth of every person here. It is the truth of every person on the planet, regardless of how they identify or show up. We are expressions of that one life. And so I take this moment to celebrate that, to honor that, and to respect it, and to allow it to take form. And I give such deep thanks for this community and the willingness of this community to stand up and be seen, especially for our young people, and to allow them to express themselves fully as their divine self. As I express myself fully as my divine self, I embrace that for each of us. Exactly who we are is our divine self, is God expressing in and as us. I am so grateful to know that this is the truth. I'm so grateful to claim it. I'm so grateful to be part of a community that embraces it. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is.
We're all in it together, it's true as they say. Still confusion abounds as we seek the right way. I wonder sometimes what this world's coming to, and try to imagine what would Jesus do. Saying all is well and it's as it should be is easy when things are all pretty and clean. But when I think things aren't happening how they're supposed to, I try to imagine what would Jesus do. What would he say about the homeless and hungry? What would he do about the beggar and thief? What would he say to the drunk and drug addict, or the young girl selling herself on the street? Do you think he'd see heavenly perfection underneath each earthly shell? Through the veil of confusion to what is true, I believe that's what Jesus would do. Christ's presence and learn to forgive 10 times and again, and in each face see their divine essence, we could change the world without from within, and realize heavenly perfection underneath each earthly shell. Through the veil of confusion to what is true, I believe that's what Jesus would do. I believe that's what Jesus would do.
That was perfect.
So that's a song by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Yes. Thank you. It is now time for us to share our tithes and offerings. We are deeply grateful for your continued support. I want to ask our ushers to come forward. And I want to invite you to repeat after me our giving affirmation. Graciously I give from a place of love. Knowing that as I give, so I richly receive. And so it is. You can feel free to write a check to CSL Rogue Valley or Unity of Medford, or if you're going to use cash, use the appropriate envelope in the seat back in front of you. And if you're a regular online giver, thank you. That is becoming a more and more core means of support of our center. So just feel free to bless the offering basket as it goes by, knowing that your gift has already been received. And we want to invite our online viewers to donate through our website, cslroguevalley.org.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Are we running ahead of time, Linda, or are we on time?
We're ahead of time. Do you want to do some more?
Time?
All right.
I think we're going to sing to each other now. Go ahead and turn to
So
someone.
yeah.
And just look into their eyes and really appreciate them for who they are. Or look across the room if you have a friend across the room that you'd like to sing to.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Since we're the hands and feet of God, our work is never done. Let's turn the other direction and find another soul to acknowledge. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. So lastly, if we're having problems giving love unconditionally, it's because we don't give it to ourselves enough. So we're going to sing this to ourselves. Here we go. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle, how deeply you're connected to my soul.
Beautiful. Just have a few announcements before we close for the day. Unity's Prayer Circle is at 10:30 on Tuesdays, and Tai Chi is at 11:30 here at the center. Next Sunday, after service, we have a prospective new members class. You don't have to join because you go to the class. You just show up and find out a little bit more about how we operate as a center and what we're asking of you if you decide to become a member. So it'll just be a brief meeting after the service next week. You can sign up for our weekly e-newsletter here in the fellowship hall. And you can also submit prayer requests in the prayer box that's there. And our ministers and practitioners will pray over that request for the next week. We have 2 upcoming classes, and both of our teachers are here. Let me just tell you, as I bring Reverend Stephanie Clark up here, she just presented a fabulous workshop at the Parliament of World Religions to people from all over the world. That's our stuff. The class is The Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment. Why don't you tell us about it?
Okay, I need the mic here.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. So we're starting on Wednesday night with the Science of Mind class. It's The Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment. For those of you who are new, treatment means affirmative prayer. So we're going to learn how to pray in a conscious, affirmative way. And when you and I do that, miracles abound. So I want to see who's up for some miracles. Who's up for some miracles? Everybody should have their hand up. All right. Who's already done foundations or an introductory class in Science of Mind? Okay, so you all qualify. You qualify for this course and you qualify for miracles. So we're starting Wednesday night from 6 till 9. And if you want to make a deposit today, you're welcome. It's $60 for the deposit and $195 for the total class fee. What else? So, thank you. Yes, it's in person. It's in person. So we're going to be meeting here on Wednesday night in the hall and working together. So it's fabulous. No more rectangles. We're just going to actually look at each other and hug each other. Any questions, quick while I'm up here? No? Okay, so see me afterwards if you're interested, and would love to have you in the class. It's not too late. Wednesday night we're starting. Put that in your diary. Thank you.
Thank you. And Reverend Bonnie Anderson is teaching a prosperity class. It's not your money. Then you want to hear about this, because who doesn't want more of that?
Right. I'll take it. Hi, everybody. Well, next month, October, is the prosperity month here, and this is the book of the month. It's called It's Not Your Money, How to Live Fully from Divine Abundance by Tosha Silver. It's a wonderful book. It's set up in lessons so that every week you get stronger in this practice. It's not your money. Whose money is it? Well, it's God's money that comes through us. So how would you like to be a conduit for the divine? A conduit for the joy, for the prosperity, for the love, and then you get to have it yourself and then share it with the world. So this is a wonderful book. The class begins on the 21st, on Thursday evening. It's on Zoom from 4 to 6 p.m. And tomorrow is the last day for the early bird price. And it's $100. I'm sure you can make a deposit also. There's a sign-up sheet there. And it's going to be a very fun class. She says, you will begin to feel that you are being taken care of. Trust will develop that every true need will be met. How would you like to know in your life that every true need will be met? I just want to read you a couple of things from this book so you see how wonderful it is. She said, I had no illusion that fixating on that laundry list of desires could ever bring much peace. I'd watched some of my own clients create fame and fortune, then have it all crash. People manifested soulmates, then lost them just as fast. One painful desire only seemed to beget another. I knew there had to be a deeper, more nuanced answer to life than to be born, chase stuff, and die. I longed to find a sense of safety and enoughness, a sense that despite ups and downs, crashes and cataclysms, one could somehow prosper, separate from life's inevitable flux. That to me is peace, knowing that you'll always be provided for. And some of the things she talks about, there's 5 steps. There's a full abundance, change me prayer, that change me, right? That you say every day. You start to clean out your house, your drawers. You look around and get rid of that stuff. I tell you, most prosperity classes will tell you to clean out the things you no longer need, because that's also cleaning out your consciousness. Stop complaining about money. Let's do that right now.
Right.
Let's stop complaining about how expensive things are, how we don't have enough, all of the things. Step 3 is gratitude. Being grateful for all that we have, because when we bless and are grateful for what we have, we get more of that. And then the 5th one is every day, you can do this now, every day it's easy for me to receive. Let's say that together. It's easy for me to receive. So please join us. You can take both of these wonderful classes and really fill yourself up this month. So thank you.
It's on Zoom. Yeah, she's 2 hours away. So. And I'm glad you're here today. So as we close, I want to just ask all of the ministers and practitioners to join me here at the front of the room. And just know that whatever is on your heart, every single one of us is available for prayer. So don't leave here with your heart heavy. If you want prayer, just ask, and we will be up here at the front of the room. Look at this. I remember when I first came here, there were 2. Really? Look at this. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, I love that. Yeah. So just join with me in knowing that God is all there is. We are so filled with the spirit of love, with the wholeness that is the truth of our being, that I speak my word for every single person here, that we go out with love, with joy, with a renewed sense of self-worth and being a part of a rich community. For all of this and so much more, I give such thanks. And so it is.
So it is. Please stand for our closing song.
I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world.